Hey folks, Stratman Mark here. I got my spectacles on here so I can see what the heck I'm doing from my little notes here. As you'll know from reading the title of this video is part 2 in a short series of videos I'm posting on the Stratman Mark YouTube channel about how to get started in busking, aka street performing. Um, there's a lot to it. I've got 12 years of experience performing on the streets of Seattle here, and I've been pretty successful at it, very successful actually. Not getting rich, but I've been very successful, both compliments from people and making quite a bit of money. Most of all, having a good time. It really helps my playing because when you're playing on the street, you're performing. Maybe you're not on a stage, in a club, but you still get that same kind of stress, if you will, and challenge of performing live in front of people. So it helps my playing to be. If you're playing by yourself, you make a mistake, big deal. But if you're playing for people, even if it's on the street, you're performing, and it puts a little bit more pressure on you, which tends to put me quite a bit more on my game. Anyway, so here we go. So the first video that I already posted is some gear suggestions, some ideal gear suggestions for busking. And again, as I said, this is part 2. And the topic of the part 2 video is how to avoid problems with other buskers, panhandlers, businesses, and police. And this is big. This is a big part because if you don't have those issues, under control, you're not going to get anywhere, and you could get in trouble. Okay, so first of all, avoiding problems with other buskers and panhandlers. There's a street etiquette. There's a street etiquette, and you have to follow it. And the street etiquette is that when you approach, let's say you're going to an intersection, it's a four-way intersection, and there's a corner on each one, right? And let's say, so you come to this intersection, you're going to play on your preferred corner. Well, the way that it works on the street, the law of the street for busking is a particular spot is only quote unquote your spot if you're occupying it. Now, you can come to a place and set up and be playing, and then you might have somebody come up to you and say, hey, this is my place, this is my spot, this has been my spot for 10 years. They might say something like that. But what you have to politely remind them is it's only your spot if you're on it. Right. Nobody can just claim a spot and it's theirs 24/7. It's your spot if you're on it. If you're not on it, it's open to anybody. And you want to, because if you're gonna play on the street, you want to start off. You don't want to start off with a bad rapport with any of the other people out there. You don't want to have a bad rapport with anybody out there, whether they're good people or not so good people or what. You don't want to have a bad rapport because they're going to be out there, and you're going to be out there. So you want to make it so everybody gets along. So, but at the same time, you got to be gently firm. Again, you go somewhere to play, and you've been playing. They come along and say, "Hey, you need to move. This is my spot. You need to really, really calmly, and without being confrontational." Just calmly explain, hey, it's the rule of the street is if you're on it, it's your place. As soon as you leave, it's anybody's place. Okay, so that's the problem that you might encounter, and that's how you can deal with it. And it's just, so yeah, panhandlers and other buskers, that's the deal, right? And oftentimes, not surprisingly, you want to set up, the buskers and the panhandlers all want to set up near places that are heavily frequented by people who might throw a donation in their tip jar. And so these are the places that are popular, right? And there's only so many places like this. And so that's why you can run into some conflict. So let's say there's 4 places available in the area to play, and some are more desirable than others. Well, you go to one place that you want to go. If it's occupied, you keep going until you find one of those ideal places that's not occupied. If they're all occupied, you either have to go somewhere else farther away that's less ideal, or you just wait until somebody leaves, and then you go and do what you got to do. So that's the way it works. It's only your place as long as you are on it, and then when you leave, boom, it's somebody else's. And if you can't let people chase you off your place when you've rightfully come and claimed it when it was empty. And the same token, you can't try to have conflict with other people, right? If you got to wait until they're done. And the other thing is, here's another part of that. It's not only that you don't want to try to be in a place, you don't want to have conflicts on what place you're in. You don't want to respect somebody else already occupying a place and knowing that that's their place until they're done. So you want to respect that. That's the first thing. The second thing is you want to think about other aspects of what you're doing, how it's going to affect the other buskers or panhandlers. Like I play electric guitar through an amplifier. Now, even if I'm across the street at this four-way intersection from another guy who's over there playing acoustic guitar, it's not proper etiquette for me to have him play electric guitar because my music is much louder than the acoustic guitar. I'm going to be in a situation where I'm in close enough proximity to ruin his playing, to overpower his playing with the volume of mine. You can't do that. So you'd have to go somewhere else. And once you, when you follow these things, people will come to respect you for this. Other people on the street, even the people that will try to, buffalo you out of your rightful playing spot. If you follow the rules and if you're straight up with people and treat them right, sooner or later they're going to respect that, and you're going to have few if any problems. Okay, business owners. As I said before, you're oftentimes going to want to, not often, you're always going to want to be close to places with high traffic, and most of the high traffic places are outside of popular stores with people coming and going. These include grocery stores, all kinds of different shops and stuff. Whatever's popular eateries, whatever. I play in front of a Whole Foods a lot, but across the street. That's another thing about, well, we're getting to this. So I park at Whole Foods a lot, QFC and stuff here in Seattle. Now, part of the etiquette regarding the business owners and avoiding problems is, again, if there's a guy with an acoustic guitar, he can go right up in front and right outside the entrance and play, and it's not going to bother anybody. If I do that, my amp's going to be loud enough that it's going to be too close and too loud, and the store owner's not going to like it, or the store manager, and the customers aren't going to like it. So that's part of the etiquette as far as the business, avoiding conflicts with the businesses. Be far enough away if you're playing, with an amplifier, that you're not going to disturb anybody from being too close, too loud, right? Whatever you're doing, don't be too close or too loud, right? If you do that, the business owners and the managers will really respect that. In fact, one of the Whole Foods where I play, or the Whole Foods where I play, they come out and the manager will come out and ask me to move closer and or turn up louder because they like what I'm doing. It's a positive thing. The customers like it, they enjoy it. And the reason is because I follow these little rules that I'm talking about that don't ever create a negative experience for them. Always positive. That's what you want. They bring me lunch. I'll be playing and they'll bring me lunch and stuff. So that's what you do. Yeah, so that's, and then the other thing about keeping the business owners happy is don't leave anything behind and don't have a big mess, right? When you go set up to play, have it be very neat and tidy, back off from the sidewalk, back away from the entrance, so that you're off to the side. Don't be too loud if you use an amp. Don't have trash. Don't, openly smoke herb, or drink, alcohol or anything like that. Um, just be real. Just have your whole act be really presentable. Um, okay, and then the last thing is police. Okay, now the first thing that you have to do if you're gonna busk in your area is find out whether or not it's legal to busk in your city or town, because in some cities it is illegal. Pardon me. In Seattle here, we are blessed that it is actually legal. They passed a law many years ago. Some buskers got together and had a long political fight, but they got a law passed in Seattle where busking cannot be illegal and you cannot be ticketed for it or anything like that. But where you live, it may be different. Okay, so let's take San Francisco. I've busked in San Francisco. It's illegal, but oftentimes it's a matter of how you do it. In San Francisco, the first time I did it, I played within 5 minutes. I hadn't even finished my first song. Maybe my second song, the police came and told me I couldn't do it, and they weren't really happy with me. They were a little bit PO'd, right? And they explained. Then they kind of, since I was just like with a lot of things, when they came up to me, they were PO'd, but I remained calm and nice and even friendly. Well, that toned them down to where they were no longer PO'd, and they were also being nice and friendly at that point. And they explained to me that where I was playing was right below some apartments. They were right there, right behind me was some apartments, and it was maybe 11 o'clock in the morning, and those people will complain, is what the police said, and that's why I can't play there. And they said it's illegal to play in San Francisco on the street. And then they paused, and then they said, but keep moving. If you keep moving and avoid playing in close proximity to residences and businesses, you'll be okay. So you see that? Again, If you treat the cops right, they'll treat you right. Treat the businesses right, they'll treat you right. Treat the other buskers and panhandlers, etc. right, they'll treat you right. Everybody's happy. Um, so that's what you do. If it's illegal in your town, well, go to a place that's where you see other buskers and ask them. Ask them what the deal is. Another thing with the police is, for example, in Seattle, you're not allowed to sit down on the sidewalk ever. You cannot sit on the sidewalk ever. It's illegal. The police will come along and tell you that you can't do it. Um, so if you play sitting down, you're gonna have to learn how to play using a strap with the guitar. That's what I did, and I like it better playing with a strap now anyway. But so that you have to do. So be aware of that. I don't. Almost all cities or towns will not let you sit to perform. You have to stand. Pardon me. And the same thing with the police. You know, if they come along and maybe they're a little bit, you know, snotty or whatever, just be cool, be nice, be friendly, no matter how they act. That'll come back to you. That'll come back to you. Um, and oftentimes they'll enjoy what you're doing. So again, just establish a good rapport with the cops from the beginning. Don't break the law, or if you're doing it where you're not supposed to do it, follow the unwritten street laws. You know, where if you don't sit down, you know, if you're not too loud, if you're not leaving any stuff behind or having too much stuff around, if you're not having any kind of negative impact on the area or on the business at all, they'll be on your side. At least that's been my experience. Okay, what else? That's really it. That's really it. Okay, we're gonna do video number 3 after a bit. But this is Stratman Mark signing off for now. Thanks for watching. Play on, brothers and sisters.